The New York Mets. Now, that's a team that a lot of people talked about in the beginning of the season. Why? I mean, the Mets went out there, they traded, they signed a free agent in BIchette. This team looked crazy good. I mean, they did miss the playoffs last year, but regardless, they went out there, they spent money to improve this team, and lots of people consider them as one of the top favorites to win in the division, and that's surely not what has happened. Let's talk about it. Whoa. Before we move on to the video, if you guys like MLB content, want to stay up to date to every single information, every single trade rumor, do yourself a favor and follow me. Leave a like, leave a comment on what you guys want to see next. Anyways, let's move on to the video. After the New York Mets did not make the playoffs last year, a lot of people were wondering on what direction the Mets were actually going to take. I mean, was Carlos Mendoza in the hot seat when it came to it? And no, they decided to give him another try in the 2026 season, but that surely did not last because he started 34-47 and was let go after that. Now, you look into what the Mets were actually doing in the offseason, and they were pretty active when you look into it. They go out there, they sign Devin Williams to a contract. They go out there, they sign BIchette. They trade for other players such as Freddy Peralta, such as Luis Robert Jr. So they surely were active in the market. They were trying to improve their team, but it's just at the end of the day, when you look into it, these players just did not work out for them. I mean, let's just start with Freddy Peralta. Now, let's make this very clear. In all honesty, these players have been fantastic throughout their careers. It just hasn't worked out when it comes to the New York Mets. Now starting with Freddy Peralta. Freddy Peralta has not had a great year compared to his best year in Milwaukee last year. This year, he has an ERA of 4.68 and a WHIP of 1.42. Nothing even remotely close to what he had last year in Milwaukee, which was a 2.70 ERA with a WHIP of 1.07. So that's one of the few players that the Mets signed to get that starting rotation a little bit better, and it just hasn't been working out with him. He hasn't looked as good compared to last year in Milwaukee. Now you look into injuries. Look into injuries. One of their biggest stars, Francisco Lindor, has been dealing with multiple injuries throughout the season, so he hasn't been fully healthy, he hasn't been fully participating with the team. Now you look at one of the people that they traded for, this being Luis Robert Jr. Luis Robert Jr. has proven on the field what he could do. He's a fantastic player, but the concerns were always his injuries. And lots of people had concerns when he got traded to the Mets because, once again, his injuries. You traded players, you traded prospects, and his injuries have been a concern, and he hasn't played since April. So this is another player that just hasn't worked out when it comes to the Mets this year. Lastly, I mean, you look at the two other players that they signed, Marcus Semien and BIchette. They both haven't been great at the at-bats. What they initially traded / signed for is not what they have received this year. Now you look into the New York Mets, I think there's a lot of issues that really has happened for them this year. Players not playing great, injuries happening. That starting rotation has been very poor to begin with. Now you have to think about what the New York Mets are going to do. They are currently in last place of the division, and they are still not playing great baseball. At this point in time, they kind of have to start a fire sale when it comes to the players. Freddy Peralta's in the last year of the contract. What do you think they're going to do?